Have you ever canoed down a babbling brook?
No, but I have cried at a Taco Bell.
Oh, same thing. Listen up, campers.
It's time to buckle up, pitch a tent, and take a hike.
Because Camp Counselors is a variety show.
So prepare for a good old-fashioned kumbaya,
Weird news,
hot gossip,
and scary stories around the campfire.
so spooky.
Is this podcast even about camping?
No, but it is camp. This is Camp Counselors. Hey, happy campers. Oh my God, welcome back to Camp Shady Birch.
It is week 120 here at camp and almost week 1565 of Zachariah's life. This is the last episode of your 20s.
I know. I can't believe it. I'm 29 as this episode comes out, but next Monday, I will be 30 years old.
30, the big 3-0 over the hill.
Well, you never know when your hill is.
Well, it's the kind of kismet that it's episode 120.
I know, 120, last episode of my personal 20s. You've been a part of the 30 crew for years.
Yeah, probably like 7 years almost. That's what it feels like.
You know what? Let me just say this about turning 30. I've never been more excited. Anyone who's ever known me personally, I've always given big 30 energy.
Yeah.
I love being home early.
Yes, 100%, as do I.
I like the pleasures and the calmness that comes with being in your 30s, or at least what I think 30 represents. I feel like 20 is a lot about finding yourself and figuring it out, and I think that continues your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But 20s for me came with a lot of stress and self-doubt, and I think I've never felt more clear about the person I am today. So I'm welcoming my 30s, but also I want to have a badass weekend. I'm going to get hammered.
Yeah.
I'm going to celebrate. I love birthdays. I don't love when my birthday is. Like, I like being February 3rd. It's just so me, but also like time of year wise, so not me.
Oh, I know. My birthday's in February too, and I agree, it sucks.
Do you have any sage advice for me before I enter my 30s?
Just be yourself.
You know what? Did anyone record that? Oh, this is recording. I don't think anyone's ever said that out loud before. Be yourself. That sounds like a brand new concept I've never learned.
I speak like a fortune cookie.
Well, campers, since I am a sentimental guy, I made a little list for you all of the lessons that I've learned or am currently trying to implement every day while living my first 29 years of life.
I love that. And I think our campers, their ages are all over the board. So I think for the ones who are turning 30, even 40, maybe 50, who knows?
We've had campers that are like, I love your podcast. I listen to it every day before I get ready for school for 6th grade. I'm like, honey bunny, you should not be listening to this. I love you as an uncle, but it's just...
It's TVMA for sure.
So this is a list of 29 things I learned before turning 30.
How special. Okay.
I worked on this for a long time.
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
So they're really not in any particular order. Some will have more explanation than others, but I kind of feel like it's on my heart.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with number 1, the biggest one of all for me. It's trust my gut, because my gut is always right.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
100%.
Yeah, I feel like moving into this next phase of my life, every time that I've ever had a little bit of doubt or felt like maybe this isn't for me, it really wasn't for me. And I knew it, and I should have said, trust that little voice in my head.
That's your strong mama instincts. That's
oh my God,
that is.
Such strong mama instincts. Like, I already am strong mama, but 30, I'm strong mother. Number 2. Really think long-term about your tattoo decisions. I think I'm tatted for life at this point. I don't think I want any more. Like, I have 3, technically 2, because one's a cover-up. But if I could go back, I wouldn't have gotten any.
Oh, because you just wanted the cover-up as your...
Yeah, like, I have a huge half sleeve that's really, like, covering up a terrible tattoo decision of a small potion bottle that everyone told me looked like a green chicken wing.
It said it was very drumstick.
Every time I look at my tattoos, I like them, but I wish I didn't get them.
Oh.
I think that was something I thought that I wanted for my life at 20. I thought tattoos represented some level of coolness, and I don't think I needed it.
You're cool enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I think too, as if when people look at weddings as a culture and they do really trendy things for their house or their weddings or their clothing, like just as styles go in and out, I also think tattoo styles go in and out.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So like the cornflower blue in the 1980s at a wedding is not going to hold up. But, you know,
They cycle back.
Yeah, history does repeat itself. And it's definitely a cycle. But it's funny because I feel like that's what everybody told us we never wanted to hear that. So that's just a lesson you have to learn on your own.
I have the half sleeve of flowers, as do I'm sure many campers.
Mm-hmm.
And that was definitely a time. That was definitely 2010 to 2018. We all got that half sleeve. And now I'm looking at everyone that's getting tattoos now. And the trend is like really tiny illustrated little designs.
Yeah.
Almost it looks like super hyper realistic. And people are going to tell those people, well, look how it happened. Look what happens when you age. And to that, I say, whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
When I'm old and my skin is sagging, I'm going to look terrible regardless. I already need Botox in my face. I was thinking about that this morning, but I don't want to do that before going on tour because it's hard to laugh.
Yeah, I'm also accepting my wrinkles as they are for right now. If they get worse, then I'll turn back time and also get Botox. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you never know how long you're gonna like a tattoo.
That's very true.
So I wish I could tell younger me, you don't have to get a tattoo to look cool. You're already cool enough.
I do want to finish getting my tattoos. I still have the one spot that I wanted to fill in for it to feel complete, but I haven't figured out what that is. But after I get every tattoo, like my Dolly Parton tattoo on the inside, I looked at it. I love it. I still love it now, but I remember having like an on-set panic attack. Like I felt it building up and then I calmed myself down because I was like, this is forever. But I'm like, well, yeah, but it's just there. And I mean something.
You give tattoo energy.
All the things she said run into my head.
I don't think people look at Zachariah and say tattoo.
I do.
I think they say buffet. No, and it's fine. Like I give buffet energy. I don't give like guys, just everybody close your eyes. If you're driving, close them. Picture me at a tattoo parlor. Exactly. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
You give spongy girl energy.
I got to keep moving. I have a long list.
Okay.
Number 3, friendships take so much work and it is worth it.
Wow. Say that one more time because I need to hear it.
Friendships take so much work and it is so worth it. I have learned that friendships, they take a lot of your time. And if you don't work on your friendships, they will dissolve.
Yeah.
And I've spent my entire 29 years of life maintaining friendships and I don't regret it at all. And there were certain times where I felt like I was giving more. And now there's times right now where I feel like my friends are giving me a lot more than I'm giving them. And I am just so grateful that I have them in my life. And I'm just so grateful for the strong friendships I have.
That's beautiful. And I can vouch for you. I've said it on this podcast before, and I'll say it again, that you are like the best friend I've witnessed to your friends.
Thank you. And it leads into number 4. Friendships change, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
Your friends might have babies, they might get married, and things might not feel as consistent as they did 5, 6, 10, 15 years ago. And that is life. We are all constantly evolving. And it doesn't mean they don't love you. It just means that priorities change. But your friendship, if you've had it for X amount of years or you feel really confident in that person, like it's worth it. And just be okay with it and don't take that to heart.
Don't look back, doll. You're not going that direction.
This also weaves into friendship for number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people leave your life and you'll really never understand why. And that sucks, but it has nothing to do with you.
Amen. These are great.
Thank you. Because that one's really coming from the heart. I had a very close friend of mine who kind of just disappeared really quickly. And I panicked for a very long time. I had to kind of salvage a relationship that this person didn't really seem to care about me anymore. And I couldn't understand why. And it still hurts to this day because it was someone I really cared about. And it didn't happen to me. It happened to a whole friend group of ours. Like someone just disappeared. And every time we're together, it always comes up because it's so damaging because we have to kind of tell ourselves we'll never really understand why this person made that choice. And I'm always going to love that person, but it'll never be the same. And I have to tell myself like, yeah, I was upset when things were going south and I said some things I didn't mean, but ultimately that person choosing to leave my life had nothing to do with me and everything to do with whatever was best for them. And that's okay. So just trying to remind myself of that when I miss that person, like, hey, that wasn't about you. That was about them.
And it was definitely damaging to your whole friend group. Like,
Yeah.
because I was there at the tail end of things when everything kind of changed. So,
well, when you're friends with someone for
it.
a decade and then one day they decide to move away and never talk to you again, it's mentally like fucked. Oh my God. And I have see right now, I'm not over it yet.
I know.
I don't know if I'll ever be over it, but that's the thing with this list. It's things I know, and it doesn't mean I've mastered them, because I don't think you ever master really anything. But that's something really important.
That's beautiful.
Number 6, change is scary, but inevitable, and we all have to learn to adapt. And I'll leave that at that. Number 7.
Oh my God, you have more? How many are there?
29.
I know.
Moving away from home is a horrific feeling, but you should have done it sooner. The stretch made you stronger.
Wow, the stretch made you stronger. You're like, that is great. Wow, you should write for fortune cookies.
Thank you. I really believe that there was a period of 6 months when I first moved away that I felt like I made the wrong decision.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was missing out nonstop with the friends that I've had my entire life. And we're on almost we're on our 3rd year here.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it. I think it was so important for me to experience a different city, a different life for work or for whatever. And those friendships are still there. Mm-hmm. And yes, they've evolved because I moved away. Most of them have had kids, but we still connect on this level of humor that we've had since we were 15. Mm-hmm. And that'll never change. And I'm just so grateful for those friendships that have been patient with me in this next journey and chapter of my life, because I think we all see each other for who we really are. And that stretch was so difficult, but the rubber band didn't snap, and it's not going to snap. So if you've ever been fearful of moving away, I say you should, because home will always be home. But also know that those first 6 months to a year are going to feel larger than you could have ever expected in every way.
Yeah, this isn't linear, but it's like similar to when you were trying to get me to do your live show and I didn't want to do it. And like 2 nights before the first live show, before I ever did like fully live comedy in front of hundreds of people, I was falling apart, you know? And you were like, I can't explain it, but after you get off stage, it's just this feeling, you need to trust me. And I did. And that was the same before we moved away. I couldn't explain it to you because I had moved multiple times.
Exactly.
And you had never moved away from home. And I was trying to tell you, but I couldn't, because you just had to experience it. You just have to live it.
I remember like standing in my apartment in Bedford. I'm like, well, thinking about it, being like, I'm making the wrong decision. I'm making the wrong move. Everything I've ever loved is here. And why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And it all makes sense why. It's this podcast. It's live comedy. It's everything that New York has given me that I couldn't have gotten what if I stayed home. So I think if you feel it, because I always knew I should have done it. So if you're feeling that, campers, in any facet of your life, if you're feeling you need a transition, trust your gut, make the transition, but also know that it's not always easy. And you have to kind of sit in that uncomfortability for a minute to do it. And speaking to you doing live shows, we were at backstage in Toronto and the Live Nation comedy booker came back, congratulated me on my show, and then looked at you and said, Jonathan, I am so impressed by you and how that she thinks that you have a future in stand-up comedy because how incredibly talented you are at storytelling.
So take the leap, campers.
Number 8, comparison truly is the thief of joy.
Amen. Motherfucking tweets.
And this is something that I am working on every single day. It's an important reminder. I know you know, but it truly is the thief of joy. It's that why me? Why don't I have that? You'll get it when it's meant for you.
Nobody's on the same path.
Nobody's on the same path. And it doesn't matter where I'm at in my life. I'm always going to compare myself to like where I want to be. And I have to remind myself every day, like, wow, we're really doing okay.
Yeah.
Number 9, it's not rejection. It's redirection.
Where did you get that? Was this a textbook?
You've never heard of that before?
No.
It's not rejection. It's redirection.
Where a door closes, another one opens.
What's meant for you is meant for you. And it always makes sense. Hindsight.
Que sera.
Hindsight is 2020. Number 10. Buy the size that fits, not the size you want to be.
We have a closet full of clothes. I got a closet full of clothes that don't fit because I'm like, oh, by this time in 6 months, I will absolutely fit this Abercrombie and Fitch 00. Baby, I'm not. And it's just taking up space.
It's like, I can't keep buying jeans that are 32-30. I'm a 34-30 after like a water cleanse. I feel most comfortable in a 35-30. So why am I buying clothes that don't fit? Nobody knows what the tag says, but they're seeing that it's ill-fitting. So
speaking of buying clothes, just going to do a really quick midway plug here. Zachariah, very lovely shirt that you're wearing for our audio only listeners. Why don't you tell them what it is?
It is a Camp Counselors podcast tee that is size large, even though 4 years ago, I would have fit perfectly in a medium. And that's okay.
Amen.
Available now.
Yes, you can get yours campcounselorspodcast.com/merch.
Number 11, save money for the unexpected. A safety net is so important. I came from very, very broke beginnings. My entire life, I never had money. I was in credit card debt for 8 years, paying just the interest. And I think now I'm in a lot better financial spot. So all I can say is you never know what's going to happen. I'll never forget getting my appendix taken out and being out of work for 2 weeks and having zero safety net. But sometimes I think we have to acknowledge I think a lot of people criticize other people when they don't have a safety net. And sometimes I just want to say, if you could have had a safety net, you would have. Not everyone has the availability to create a safety net. But if you do have the availability to put some money away, maybe don't go buy a new puffer jacket. Maybe actually put the $400 in a savings account. But don't beat yourself up if you don't have a safety net either, because sometimes life doesn't allow you to have that. And I think we need to be like kind to ourselves with that too. Number 12, it's your parents' first time living. I've had to tell myself this every single day since I turned 18 because I'm so critical of my parents and I'm always thinking, why aren't they doing it the way that I would do it? I love my mom and dad. I have a very huge disconnect with them on a variety of issues. And I've learned to understand that they're having their first time living too. And I learned that from TikTok.
Yeah.
And I think when I remember that, it helps me be a little bit more gentle with them because you only get one set of parents. And I don't want to live my life in resentment and hatred towards them. It's easier just to like meet them where they're at.
Also, with you being gentle with your parents, I think it's also being gentle with yourself because your expectations are like managed so then you don't feel let down. Like you gave me that advice and I had never really programmed my brain that way before, especially with like certain people in my life and some people in my family that I kind of have adjusted that. And then when they do something that seems like the bare minimum, when the bar for them, personally for me, has been set so low, then I'm like, wow, what a pleasant surprise.
I know.
And that happened recently.
It genuinely just makes it seems like you're giving them like, I don't know, like an out, or you're like being too easy on them. But I'm saying in turn, you're going to feel better.
Oh my God.
It's actually a gift to yourself.
Truly.
Manage your expectations of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just going to jump to one right here because it kind of piggybacks off of that. Start therapy immediately. I waited way too long to get a therapist and I'm in between therapists right now and I need to go back. But I thought the period of time where I was most connected in therapy, going every 2 weeks, it was a very challenging time. But I think those little nuggets of information that sometimes you need to hear someone else say, because when a friend or a lover says it to you, it doesn't resonate as much as someone who's sitting in a big leather chair with a doctorate degree behind their head. Mm-hmm. It just really resonates a little bit better from them.
Everybody should go to therapy.
Everybody. Oh my God. Mom, are you listening? She doesn't listen. Mom, please go to therapy. Everyone. Oh my God. Even if you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
I want to go back. I need to go back. BetterHelp.com.
Yeah. BetterHelp.com/camp. I think that's what it is. But I totally agree. I remember because I was in therapy at the beginning of our relationship and I mentioned it to you about going to therapy and you like took it offensively and I didn't mean it offensively. But then once you went, it's like, oh yeah, you don't have to have gone through trauma to go and benefit from therapy.
Yeah. And maybe you did go through trauma and you didn't realize it wasn't trauma, but just because you didn't survive a tsunami doesn't mean that you didn't experience trauma. We all have had it. And you have to like give yourself permission to say like, just because this wasn't as bad as someone I saw on Instagram or TikTok doesn't mean that I don't need a little bit of help.
Should we be classified under self-help as podcasts right now?
Well, this is a little self-help. I've gone out of order, so I don't know what number I'm at right now. I think this is 14. Drink water. You're still working on that. I need to be drinking more water. And I know that, but I wrote it down because I know the importance of water when it comes to skincare. And that's why these crow's feet are dancing around.
The reason I need to drink more water is these goddamn Charlie horses. I'm sick of talking about them. I'm sick of it. But then I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I get one. And I'm like, Jonathan, you didn't drink the water. It was you. You can walk this fat horse to water. Am I going to drink it? That's still up for debate. Stay tuned until next episode.
Some would say nay.
Clever boy. Clever boy.
Number 15, ask for help, especially for things you don't understand, i.e. business and taxes. You can't be an expert on everything, and that is okay. Accept help from people who are better at things than you are. Put your pride aside and get off Google. You can't Google your taxes away. Hire somebody.
Truly. And don't view it as, oh, I'm just wasting money to have somebody do my taxes. Everybody has to do them. Get somebody who knows what they're doing, who has good reviews online. That part you can Google. Do a little research before you send over your SSN. But yeah, having a guy do your taxes who understands it and is telling you what you should be doing and all the files to keep and what to do, it's changed everything.
Like, you don't have to like look at a TikTok about how to do electrical work in your house. Like, you should just hire the electrician.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Number 16, experiences will always be better than material things. My favorite memories are not the things I bought, but the places and the times I've had.
That's beautiful.
The places I've been. Yeah.
The places that you've been. But I also do. Hey, I love a t-shirt. I love a t-shirt from a t-shirt shop.
Yeah, you love material things.
Yeah, so I'll argue that one.
Number 17, sleep when you're dead. Live. I really do. I think sometimes I've spent days like rotting on the couch that's what I really mean. Like, get out, live, because tomorrow is not promised.
Liv Tyler.
18, reading will make you smarter. Pick up a damn book once in a while. A good book can change the way you see the world.
I need to get a self-help book, and you need to get back on your reading junction.
Exactly, because I felt so much better when I was reading last year, so I got to start reading again. Number 19, your childhood trauma will turn into your superpower. Wow. I think what I'm most known for and what's built my career is being loud and boisterous and flamboyant and very gay. And that was what was the most damaging to me as a child. And now I've turned it into my life's purpose. So sometimes you need to redirect it all.
That's beautiful.
That's kind of coming from therapy as well. Number 20, redefine productivity. This is a hard one for me still. Just know that rest can be productive.
Yeah, I have a hard one with this one too.
And exactly, this isn't a list of things I've mastered. These are things I know I've learned, but still have to implement.
I learned about that one in therapy, and that I still have the productivity, the content mill of it all. It's enjoyable, but it can't just be 24/7, 25/7 sometimes.
Exactly. Number 21, the power of saying no. Let Them by Mel Robbins. No, I think that's self-explanatory. I think there is such a power of being able to choose what's good and what's bad for you. And I think every single day we need to remember, like, you can say no, and a no sometimes is your ultimate yes. Oh,
you're giving Brené Brown right now.
Oh, Brené Brown? I love Brené Brown. Number 22, take care of your damn teeth. This is major. My teeth are in a good spot. For a while they weren't. And I wish I could shake every 18-year-old and say, if you're not on your parents' insurance, you need to figure it out. This is something that you should go into debt for. Don't go into debt for your clothing. Go into debt for your teeth if you have to. Like, you only get one set of teeth.
So true. Put down that taffy.
Seriously. And just brush and floss and take care of your gums, because it's no joke. And you don't want to be one of those people who has like the horse size, what are they called? Veneers.
Xylitol gum. I heard something controversial.
Stop plugging that, because you don't know if that's good or not.
I've heard recently it's controversial, but maybe do your own research. But I had that major addiction to xylitol gum. I just bought 3 packs. They're downstairs.
You calling it an addiction?
That they help my teeth. Allegedly, they revert. Allegedly, they reverse tooth decay and help tooth build up.
I love that. Thank you.
It's all alleged though.
23. Don't take advice from people living a life you don't want.
Wow. Literally.
Isn't that a good one?
Literally, there are so many people who will stand on a soapbox who have like the dirtiest of laundry in their house.
Yeah, I'm not listening to you if I don't like where you sleep. If I don't like how you live, if I don't like the way you talk to people, that's not my message. That's not my mission. Like, seek out the people who you want to be like and listen to how they live their life.
We're just speaking in like tongues and conjugated verbs right now. It's like really magical.
I think it's good. I think it's a good list.
I love it.
24, financial independence is key.
And cash is king.
Get that bag up, campers. 25, do it today and not tomorrow.
I like that.
I need to be better at that. I love procrastination. Number 26, show up for people. You will never regret it. Sometimes it's really hard to stay true to your commitments, especially when you're tired and you're overwhelmed. But when you do that, when you show up for people, not only do you feel good, but you just show that you're a good friend and a good person. And you're never going to go to bed at night and be like, I wish I didn't do that. You know, you're going to feel good about it. Push yourself, strain yourself for other people. Because when you need it, they'll be there for you.
For the most part, you guys will know when that's not, hand in hand. But I agree.
Okay. Number 27. We're getting down to it. You can change the direction of your life at any point. It is difficult, but not impossible. Take a chance on yourself.
Beautifully said.
I had a major redirection at 26. And I think you'd have a major redirection at 40. A little short list here. Vera Wang became a fashion designer at 41. Julia Child's first cookbook was published at 39, and she didn't get her first TV show till 51. Laverne Cox got her breakout role on Orange is the New Black at 41. Martha Stewart published her first book at 41. Kris Jenner met Ryan Seacrest at 51 to pitch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Steve Carell got The Office at 42. And Ronnie Dangerfield, the comedian, got his big break at 46 on The Ed Sullivan Show. So, it could change at any moment.
It's never too late.
28, believe in yourself first. Everyone else will catch up. Block out the noise.
Put those blinders on.
And 29, the best is yet to come.
Ew, now you're giving me goosebumps.
You know I ate this list up.
You ate it up. Where are the crumbs? I can't see them. Oh my God, there's a cockroach on the ground.
Oh, it's upside down though. It's dead.
Okay, she's sleeping.
The best is yet to come.
The best is, except for him, he's like pitched. His little cockroach ghost is like, tell that to my carcass.
Yeah. Thank you for indulging me, campers, on 29 things I learned before turning 30. And thank you for being a part of it and giving me the space to reflect and be positive and look towards the light. So let's get into today's episode, shall we?
This episode of Camp Counselors is sponsored in part by Rocket Money. Campers, let me tell you a tale as old as time. You sign up for something, forget about it after the trial period ends, and then you're charged month after month. After month. The subscriptions are there, but you're not using them. I just learned that 85% of people have at least one paid subscription going unused each month. Thanks to Rocket Money, I can see all my subscriptions in one place and cancel the ones that I'm not using anymore, and now I'm saving more money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save, and then you can ask them to negotiate for you. They'll deal with customer service, so you don't have to. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year while using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/camp. That's rocketmoney.com/CAMP. rocketmoney.com/camp.
Attention campers, please meet at the old flagpole under the tall pine for morning announcements. Welcome back to morning announcements, campers. I got my clipboard, aka my iPad, because this is the part of the show where we share news articles with you that you might have missed that we want you to spread all around camp. Okay? Jonathan, will you start us off? What is your news article?
So this is coming from The Independent. It's an article by Brittany Miller, and I'll read the title at the end. There isn't like a shocking surprise, but it pretty much gives it all away. So there is a content creator, a TikToker, whose name is Spencer, and he owns SB Mowing. Have you heard of this account?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I have followed this account for a couple of years now. Campers, if TikTok is still available, you should go out there and follow him because he is like a landscaper. He mows a bunch of lawns. He owns a business, and the content that he makes is taking care of people's places, kind of just showing up and being like, hi, I have this account. This is what I do. Can I cut your grass for free? And he finds like crazy how he lives in Kansas, and he just finds like completely overgrown spots or like, you know, it's shit like that. You guys can picture it.
It's usually like old people who like can't do it.
Yeah, it's either old people or sometimes it's like there's old people next door and the house has been abandoned and the township won't take care of it. So he's really just kind of like, and he loves it. And I love watching him because it's a nice story. And I love watching things like cleaning carpets and just
like hyper speed too. He'll like edge like the lawn and he'll like cut it like really fast. And I'm like, wow, look at the transformation.
The pool guy too. I love him.
Oh yes. I haven't seen him in a while.
I haven't either. What is he up to? I could take a dip. I'll have to take a dip into that content.
Take a dip into that search.
That's not about this. Okay, so we are in Kansas where he posts videos helping others around him with lawns that are overgrown. And as I'm recording this, this just happened a couple of days ago. But he helps this woman, and she is old. She's like elderly and she's pretty frail. And in the video, he says, hey, can I help you cut your lawn? Because it is really overgrown. There's weeds everywhere. You can't even see her driveway. It's crazy. And she clearly looks like she needs assistance. She can't do this on her own. She's hesitant at first. And I feel like a lot of people are. Because it's like, why are you walking on my property offering me
free services?
Yeah.
What's the catch?
And what's with the camera? Joe. She then reveals that the city threatened to charge her $240 if she didn't cut her grass, and she couldn't afford it.
What? She's an elderly woman.
This
makes me sick to my stomach.
Shame
actually.
on that
Shame
city of
on
Kansas. That. Like truly, I'll go out there on a whim and say, fuck whoever that mayor is.
Seriously.
Okay, so they gave her till the 22nd of January to have her her stuff cleaned up, where she was going to be charged and then continuously charged after that. Spencer then offered to clean up. This woman, her name is Beth. Spencer then offered to clean up Beth's lawn and provide more room for her car in the driveway. And she responded, my prayers have been answered. She's the sweetest little lady. After showing her his finished work, Beth says, your work makes me twinkle.
Oh.
So the video had received over 83 million views.
That's, from a content standpoint, everybody, that is absolutely unheard of. That's insane.
That's when this article was written. I didn't check what it was today, but I checked a different number, which I'll get to later, and they are drastically different. So I don't know what it's at now, but probably much higher than that. So the comments were so nice, and they were praising the landscaper and being like, how can we help this woman? Because she doesn't have much. She doesn't have like a lot of family around. She doesn't really have anybody, doesn't have a lot of things. So then he was encouraged to set up a GoFundMe page to help out this woman. And in the page's description, Spencer, this guy who just owns this landscaping company, it says he's going to use the money to fix some of the accessibility issues around her home, not just her yard, including a ramp, a new driveway, a chair lift to help her go up and down the stairs to do laundry, replace her broken windows, and hire a landscaping company to continuously maintain her yard. And then he said, I really appreciate everyone who donates to help Beth out. It's basically what the description said. I will make sure that all of the money goes towards fixing all of the items above or other accessibility issues that Beth needs. Some leftover money may be given to her in cash. The rest will be donated to local nonprofits to help other people in same situations that she's in. So he's just coming in here and being like, I'm going to do what the government in this area of Kansas should be doing on the daily. And instead of fucking fining her $240, I'm going to try to help get money for this woman to get her the things that she needs. So in a follow-up, oh my God, In a follow-up, Spencer went to tell Beth about the GoFundMe. She's super emotional about it. And then there's another video, and he says, the people who were watching, the viewers, fell in love with you and your story and wanted to come together as a community to help you and get you into a better spot. And then she says, those are the things dreams are made of. She's just this frail old lady. It's so cute. So as we record this, the date is January 17th, 2025. $854,761 were raised.
Oh my God. So that's going to help a lot of people. Like,
That's
not
going to
beyond
help.
her. That's insane.
My God. And he made, oh my God. And this is the...
And this is why they want to be on the internet. This is why they want to be on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's what we do. It's so negative, right? Oh my God. I'm sick to my stomach, but happy for her.
I'm happy for her too.
That's amazing. That is the power of community.
We just got to shift the focus on all the negative shit that's going on in the world and just, put a little bit of faith back in humanity where it is deserved.
We need to be creating like tax paid dollars to be helping elderly people with maintenance like that. I feel like, hello, that cannot, why would we be finding someone who's not like, that can't afford to or get outside?
What is she supposed to do?
What is she supposed to do?
And this is just one woman who
ass backwards,
who he just happened to stop at.
Thank God.
Her spot. Like, thank God he stopped. But
and honestly, like, not only are those videos emotionally touching, but they are so satisfying to see the cleanup.
They're so satisfying.
It hits on every cylinder.
And it's also like Zach and I went to do work with St. Jude's, and I was like a St. Jude's creator, and I got, my feet on the ground. I got to see it in real time and everything that they do for people. And obviously kids, it's hard to compare, but it tugs at your heartstrings. But then you look at elderly people who are kind of facing a similar issue where they can't really fend for themselves and have no one to help them, They have the knowledge, but then the brain starts slipping in some of them, and then it's kind of going back to a childlike sense, and they're just living on their own with no one there to help them. It's sad.
I know. Well, maybe we can share some resources in the episode description about like where people are donating to, so we can get involved as well.
I will definitely do that. I'll link those down below.
Great.
For sure. But that's my story. Shout out to SB Mowing, and God bless ya, Beth.
God bless Beth. Did you read the episode title?
Oh, I didn't. Thank you so much for asking. TikToker The Lawn Guy raises over $500K for elderly disabled woman after saving her garden. So in this article, it said that she had $500,000, and this article was published 3 days ago.
Oh my God.
And then that number I gave you today, the over 800,000, was what was this morning. So I don't know what the views are up to.
Wow.
Crazy life-changing stuff right there. So, your story?
It also has to do with age. It's an agey episode.
Oh my God.
It's from the BBC by Charlotte Lytton. Is this the $200,000 ticket to cheating death? A German cryonic startup is offering a chance at a second life for the cost of a sports car. Is cryogenics within reach or still an empty promise? The ambulance parked by a park in central Berlin is small, almost toy-like. A thick orange stripe across its side, a tangle of wires looping from the ceiling. It is one of 3 retrofitted and operated by Tomorrow.bio, Europe's first cryonics lab, whose mission is to freeze patients after death and one day bring them back to life, all for the cost of $200,000 USD. What do you think about that?
I have reservations.
This is that Walt Disney freeze the head ass stuff.
Now, how did that happen? You have to wonder. It's like,
it started in the 70s.
Did he? No, not that. I'm saying Walt Disney. Like, how did that rumor get started? Because everybody knows that, everybody's heard about it, but it didn't really happen, did it?
I think it might have happened. I think he was so wealthy that like that was only available.
But just his head.
And the thing is too, like the technology we'll find out in this article has evolved. So I don't know, like, would they put him in an ice block? Like, there's a lot more that goes into it than that. So we don't know if he's even eligible. We're not there yet.
Okay.
Well, the article continues, at the perfusion pump, whatever that is,
of course,
is Emil Kenzora, Tomorrow.bio's co-founder and former cancer researcher who switched careers after finding progress in curing the disease way too slow. So while the first cryonics lab opened in Michigan almost half a century ago, triggering an enduring split between those who believe in its future of humanity and others who dismiss it as a non-starter, Kenzadora says the appetite is building.
Ooh, it's not mine.
So far, they have frozen 3 or 4 people and 5 pets. What does that mean, 3 or 4 people?
3 or 4.
That's what I was telling Jonathan before. I was like, did they misplace somebody in the frozen chambers?
I see her being like, are they interviewing that girl?
Yeah, she's like 3 or 4 people. Like, is it 3 or is it 4? Now you've lost me here. You've lost me.
Yeah, those 2 crazy letters, OR. That is wild. I see her being coy, like brushing her hair behind her ears. She's like, 3, maybe 4. I don't know.
But if it's only 3 or 4, I think we should know definitively. Is it 3 or 4? We're not in a big enough number to be confused here.
Well, she's like, the paperwork is still being done for the 1.
Oh, maybe. And 5 pets. We know locked in at 5 pets. With almost 700 more people signed up. And during 2025, they will expand their operations to cover the whole United States. Because right now this is in Germany. So no one has ever been successfully revived following cryopreservation. And even if they were, the potential results could be coming back to life severely brain damaged. So far they've frozen people, but they haven't thawed anybody yet. Because they're not going to thaw until they know how to do it.
So hold on.
I know, this is very complex stuff for the camp.
Are they alive when they freeze? They have to be.
No, they're dead. But they're like, it's
that doesn't, okay.
Well, I'm not sure now.
Because what are they going to do, zap them?
And we'll get there a little bit later. I know it's hard. It's hard because you have so many questions and I wish I could answer, but I didn't go to school for science.
Okay, have they tried it on like a guinea pig?
Of course they tried it on rats.
And?
It worked.
They came back to life?
Yes, I'm going to get there.
Frankenrat.
Stop
okay, sorry.
The story, please. There is currently no proof that organisms with brain structures as complex as humans can successfully be restored. And one guy said, this guy, Clive Cohen, he said it's preposterous. And he's a professor of neuroscience at King's College in London. He sees the reality of this being possible is an overpromise. So, he's a reputable guy. He's like, no. But such criticisms have not blunted Tomorrow.bio's ambition. Once a patient has signed up with the firm and a doctor confirms they are within the final days of their life, the company dispatches an ambulance to their location. When legally pronounced dead, the patient is moved to Tomorrow.bio's ambulance where the cryonics procedure begins. The startup has been motivated by patients whose hearts have stopped in freezing temperatures and then later been restored again. One example was Anna Bagenholm, who in 1999 spent 2 hours clinically dead during a ski holiday in Norway, but was later revived.
I do know that story.
So that was kind of proof of this technology. She was dead for 2 hours, but under the right conditions, and they revived her.
Right, but her heart stops because of the freezing temperature, not because she just was dying of cancer,
Mm-hmm.
I have a thought, but I'm going to wait.
So during the procedure, the bodies are cooled down to sub-zero temperatures and supplied with cryoprotective fluid. Once you go under 0 degrees, you don't want to freeze the body. You want to cryopreserve it.
Just say it's vodka.
Otherwise, you would have ice crystals everywhere and the tissue would get destroyed. So it's a very sensitive here.
Antifreeze, probably.
Kind of. At the later temperature, the patient is transferred to a storage unit in Switzerland. Always the Swiss.
How are they going to get, where's the passport?
The Swiss are always doing the craziest shit. They're like, keep your money here, keep your body here. The Swiss is so we are so neutral. You can do freaky shit in Switzerland. I'm trying to go.
Question here.
Okay, I don't know the answer.
Now here's a plot to a movie.
Bleep all that out. Write that down. That was too good.
Thank you.
That was a crazy plot to a movie. That was insane. Well, the plan they're saying here would be that one day in the future, the medical technology would have advanced enough so that the cancer or whatever led to their patient's death in the first place is curable now, and the cryopreservation procedure itself can be reversed. So whether that's 50 years, 100 years, 1,000 years is anyone's guess. In the end, it doesn't really matter. As long as you keep the temperature, you can maintain the state virtually? Literally the word is virtually. The word was virtually. That's fucking crazy.
It's hard. It's a lot of syllables. I got it.
Yeah, we don't know. So the current tally of humans who have successfully been revived is 0. So we don't really know yet. But there's just questions is this ethical? Is kind of a big deal here.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a really interesting kind of conversation with a woman who's signed up to do it.
This is who I want to hear from.
Yeah. So someone they're being it's $200,000. Okay. People spend that on a yacht at 85 if they're mega rich. at the end of the day, that's your $200K. So who is anyone to tell you how to spend your money? Like if this is important to you,
Fuck them grandkids.
you know what I mean? But there was this like really interesting quote. Let me find it here. Hold on. So there was this woman, Louise Harrison at 51, and said her signing up was driven by curiosity. She said, I was fascinated by the idea of possibly having been restored to life in the future. It seems like a form of time travel. She said having a small chance of coming back versus no chance at all seemed to be a logical choice. And then she said that people often say to her, like, how horrible, everything and everyone you know will be gone. But that doesn't put me off. We lose people all the time, but we usually find a reason to keep living. And then the final quote I want to leave you with here is from that girl, that literal doctor. That was crazy. I mean,
that girl with the scrunchie.
She said, I can see how high the probability is. Oh, she goes, sorry, she didn't say that. She said, I can't see how high the probability is. But ready for the gag? She says, but I'm pretty confident in saying the probability is higher than cremation, if nothing else.
Amen. That's her gotcha moment. That is her log line. That is her elevator pitch.
She said, I don't know if it's going to work, but I know that if you go in the inferno, that ain't going to work. We can't put you back together in a puzzle piece of ashes.
That is clever. Clever girl.
We don't know. I don't know. I don't want it, but I don't shame on anyone spending their goddamn money and how they want to spend their goddamn money.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything for those people, but I do have a thought because
you've had a lot of thoughts.
It can definitely be a scam. I'm not calling this woman a scam artist, but I'm just saying objectively viewing this situation. Obviously, my first thought goes to, oh, this is a scam because who's going to sue me, boo? Who's going to check them? The person who's going to sue is the person who's 6 feet under. So whether they're dead and they just stay in storage, they can't, they sign off on these things. So it's like, you will never know. And they're in the business of constantly shrugging their shoulders and being like, we're not really sure yet.
But she also said, the doctor, she said at one point when they did the first heart transplant, everybody thought that was impossible. How could you transplant a heart? And now we're doing that every single day. So we don't know the medical advances we're going to have in 100 years.
That's true.
I think they don't know, but that you know all that going into it. But a small percent chance is better than no chance if that's your journey in life. So
yeah, I think it's interesting. I will not be doing it. I don't like to play God like that or the universe.
It does
or whatever
feel like playing God a little bit.
It does. Also like, what if
I'm not joking. Edit that out. Write that movie. That was nuts.
Anyway, we're back. We had to bleep out some things because I had a good idea that I'm going to copyright. I'm not even kidding. You campers will read about it or watch it someday. But we don't know. I'm in the business of shrugging. It could happen.
Okay. Can we keep moving on, please?
Moving on. This episode of Camp Counselors is sponsored in part by Factor. Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So you can fuel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. You can choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Personally, I love the Romano and black pepper shrimp pasta. It might be my favorite, but it is hard to say because they are changing the menu and I like to keep it fresh. I like to try things new, and that is just one of the many things I love about Factor. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. So reach your goals this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that can't be beat. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/camp50off and use code camp50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's factormeals.com/camp50off and use code camp50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
Grab your bug juice and bear spray, campers. It's time to pack it up and take a hike.
Welcome back to Take a Hike. Get ready to lace it up because this is the part of the show where we bitch a little. We tell something to take a hike. Arguably everyone's favorite part of the show. We just want to bitch. Okay, this is a safe space, as safe as it can be. So what am I? Yeah, you have a question?
Well, I used to say I like to munch and bitch.
Okay.
If this is the part of the show where you need a snack,
Yeah.
I suggest it.
So what am I bitching about? This happened a couple of days ago. I had to take Buffy to the vet. She's fine. She just had to get her shots and she had to get, what?
She was so sick after.
Oh, she was unwell and I was beating myself up, but I can't.
I think you're being strong because I was being weak. She looked so sad and like sick on the couch. And you're like, she's fine. And I'm like, I don't know if she's fine. She's looking shaky.
No,
I was nervous for her.
I had to sit with her on the couch. Anyway, that's not my take a hike. So when I was, where was I even going with this? What was my take a hike? Oh, this didn't even happen that day.
Oh my God, what are you talking about?
I don't know. Okay, so
another day.
Picture this. Scrap that. Picture this.
Scrap that. Picture this.
Oh my God, that is going to be the name of that project I'm working on. So I'm at a gas station, right? Freezing cold outside. There's salt all over the windshield, and I just need to. The reason I pulled over to the gas station was really to wash off the windshield. It was freezing outside. The fucking thing is empty. I'm annoyed. So I go to pump my gas. That crazy little kickstand.
Oh, I love that. The kickstand on the gas pump.
The kickstand of the gas pump.
Uh-huh.
Busted.
That does suck. Do you always use the kickstand?
Every single time. I won't get back in my car because I've heard that you can create enough static cling to make your car go up in flames. So I'll always stand outside. But I don't like touching it. But it was broken. So I had to hold the freezing cold. This was the coldest day of the year on to date. At least in New York.
People laughing in New Jersey right now.
Everybody's screaming at me, pointing and laughing, and I'm freezing my tits off. And it was far too long. It was one of those really slow pumps.
Was it a mobile?
Shell. It was she sells by the seashore. Ass.
I've only had 3 bad experiences at a gas station, and they've all been at a Shell.
This was mine.
Shell is dark. They're dark energy with that yellow shell.
Oh my God, to me.
I've never seen a yellow shell like that. Let's talk about that. Where are the yellow shells?
To me, I think that's cute marketing. And then get there and it's like terrible.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I like to hold the gas pump because I think that if you hold it down, it goes faster. The numbers go faster.
That's not true because what's the difference between holding it and using the kickstand?
I wish I could tell you, but you'd have to try it. Because it doesn't hold.
Squeeze it tighter.
It doesn't hold as tight when you use the kickstand. And I want my extra 3 seconds of life back.
I also don't do the topping off. I don't pump it too many times because I did that.
I used to.
I did that in high school and I got splashback. Poseidon's kiss.
I think everybody knows their car. My Volvo S70 in high school, the 99 beast that she needed a little top off because she didn't know when she was full. Have you ever? Oh my God, the worst is when you pump gas in a car and it keeps unclicking. And it's that false trigger. And I'm like, and then people around you can hear it.
You kind of have to like feel it out. Like I move it, shimmy it a little to the left and like pull that really slow.
But when you can't catch it and then everyone's looking at you because you've clicked 6 times and you've only put $4 in. And then I've gotten back in the car and gone somewhere else.
Oh, I've done that too.
I'm so mortified.
One time I pulled up to a gas station. This wasn't that long ago. I pulled up to a gas station and I used to always just go to Wawa. I would go to the same exact Wawa because it was en route to work. And that was just when I needed. That was just what I needed to do. And I went to like a mobile or something and I got out of my car and I'm standing there and I was so thrown off. I couldn't pump my gas. I couldn't remember how to. I had to get back in my car.
Why?
And drive to a Wawa. I don't know. I was like, I stood there for far too long and it was busy. Babe, don't give me that look because I felt really dumb.
That's concerning. That's like sort of like...
Well, it kept saying lift the handle to start pumping. So I'm like, what handle?
Oh, sometimes there's a handle in the handle. I swear to God, campers, can someone validate that for me? There's like a handle in the handle. That's also gotten me. But I know now, I'll never be shamed again, that I always check the handle within the handle if it's not pumping. They do those at mobiles sometimes.
Well, I couldn't get a handle on the situation and I was embarrassed and I had to just go to Wawa. I'm
sorry.
The only way I could make myself feel better was to get a 3-cheese panini. And hey, I felt better after that.
I'm starving. I want Wawa so bad.
I want Wawa so bad.
Don't give me the shorty. Give me the classic. I'm a tubby Tara.
Someone give me a cheese panini with pepper jack cheese and chipotle sauce.
That sounds mighty fine, Counselor Jonathan.
Yes. Okay. But that's the end of my bitching. When that goddamn kickstand on the little lever, what is that called?
The handle.
On the handle of the gas pump doesn't work. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
They got it.
I just needed to reiterate it in case you didn't.
Just one more final note on that.
What are you bitching about, biatch?
When you enter a password incorrectly, clicking the forgotten password link only to be told your new password must be different from the old password.
Enough passwords.
Password play was a kink I was never into. And tell that to Big Apple, okay? Stop making me change my password all the time. I, in my life, don't know if I have space to hold for more passwords. I'm on my 3rd generation of password. I had my old one, a new one, and now I'm on this new. And I don't want to make a new password, okay? It's getting overwhelming for me. And when I forget password and told that I can't use the new password because I already used that password, but I swear to God, I just tried it, I feel like I'm being fucked with. I feel like big data, big iCloud is messing with me. And they think I'm dumb. And I need to figure this out.
I think it's time to start recycling those Neopets passwords that we all had back in the day. I think it's okay to bring them back.
Those are not strong enough.
Well, I think we add a couple exclamation marks or like an underscore.
I hate when it says password isn't strong enough. Baby, either am I. That's why we're here right now. I don't need a stronger password. I need a password that represents me. I don't need to put 3 asterisks and numbers, capitals. I'm not smart enough. If I want my password to be Bananarama 4, let it be.
That's a good one, you guys.
Write it down. It's not mine.
Write it down. I used to write them down in a notebook. Lost the notebook, bitch. Who out there has it?
They have those apps that you can use, but it's like, why does one app have all my passwords? That's scary. I don't trust that.
Well, the Apple has all of mine. They have like the little password thing. And when you didn't update, because God bless your soul, iOS 18 has its own app now.
Oh, well, that's kind of fun and functional.
Because they have like all my credit card information, like my social security. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. If it's in one spot that is encrypted, crypto space, I don't care. I'm fine with that.
I want everything to be Face ID. You already have it. I don't care. Everything is easier with Face ID.
Wait, we didn't talk about this in the last episode when we came back from Canada.
Digital passport key?
I didn't even know I was signed up for this, campers. Well, we were at TSA at the airport trying to leave the country. And I have my passport in one hand and my printed out, because I like a printed out moment of my docking bill. What is that called?
What do you, the ticket?
The ticket. Yeah, what is that called?
It's just called a plane
boarding
ticket.
pass. A boarding pass.
Okay.
My boarding pass. And I go to hand him both of them and he says, take a step back and look up here. So I do. And they scan my face and he said, you're good. I didn't give any documentation. And then also, when we came back into the country, I wasn't going to talk about this, we didn't go through customs.
Canada's freaky like that.
Yeah, maybe it is just a Canadian thing. But we came back and I was like, okay, we got to go through customs. I'm like, wait, why are we at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Well, you verified your passport in your Delta app, and then you verified your face through that as well. And that's how they do it, through biometric scanning.
Oh my God, biotech, freeze me and bring me back.
All that to say, I'm never making another password again. I'm not joking.
Do you think the new counselor likes the top bunk or the bottom bunk? Over.
Either way, I'm giving them my boondoggle keychain. Over.
Welcome back to Camper Crush of the Week. I love it. I love. I love to be positive now. We got out the anger, and now we're going to snog, and now we're going to celebrate. Who are you celebrating right now, Jonathan?
My Camper Crush of the Week goes out to that photo of Albert Einstein sticking his tongue out.
I love that photo. Yes. Good one. What was up with him that day?
He was in his 2013 Miley era. He was being messy. He was being crazy. And we all know that photo. Now, I don't really know much about
the history of what was happening.
Or Mr. Einstein himself. You watched that movie.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Was he a good guy or a bad guy?
Well, I think he was too smart for his own good. I don't know. But I will say, I always forget. Well, when I was watching Oppenheimer, that was about World War II and the atomic bomb. You kind of forget how recent Albert Einstein was, because when he popped up in that movie, it was like weird for me. Yeah. Because I was like, you don't see that guy out in a boot.
I've never seen him young. Was he like cute?
Well, I think he would have been cute because of that picture, because no one was taking photos like that at that point.
But let me give you a little backstory.
Is there a backstory?
The photo was taken on Albert Einstein's 72nd birthday.
iPhone. Oh.
March 14th, 1951. United Press photographer Arthur Sassy.
What's in the name?
He was trying to persuade Einstein to smile for the cameras, but having smiled for photographers so many times that day, he decided to stick his tongue out instead. So the photograph became one of the most popular ever taken of Einstein, often used in merchandise depicting him in a lighthearted sense. Einstein actually did enjoy this photo of himself and requested UPI to give him 9 copies for his personal use, one of which he signed and he gave to a reporter. On June 19th, 2009, the original signed photo was sold at an auction for $74,000.
Oh, that seems like a steal.
Mm-hmm. Well, in 2009. But
That wasn't that long ago.
I guess it was his autograph.
We just had a dinosaur bone that we talked about on the show. That whole Stegosaurus was sold for like $54 million.
That's a dinosaur bone.
I would rather have a sassy signed photo of the genius that he is.
No,
that was a genius moment.
He was literally Jimmy Neutron. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, wait, it gets juicier. That same photo sold again July 27th, 2017. $125,000.
Oh my God, it increases. It increases.
So I just thought that was fun. That was kooky and cool. I came across that picture. I said, I forgot about this. I've seen it on posters in chem labs all across the tri-state area.
There is a movie about him because I remember talking about this on the show and someone told me there was a movie about him.
Einstein.
Yeah, it's called Einsteinlicious.
Little Einstein.
He even got a kid show.
What doesn't he have?
Well, you know when your name becomes like a verb or like a noun beyond like who you are. Like someone's like, okay, Einstein. It's like, I'm so smart, people use me as like an insular.
I think I know more about American Girl dolls than you do, genius.
But you could have fixed that and said Einstein.
And I meant to, but it already fell out of my mouth. So here we are. So what are you crushing on, Einstein?
I love that one. That's a good one.
Thank you.
I want a picture of him now. I'm crushing on a piece of media that really, for me, encapsulates what I believe will be my 30s. Sex and the City. You know who would have loved that riff?
Who?
Kim Cattrall. Ja, me kippievo, vale couré.
Yama kipiebo, sedere facebo, in dog Latin me quoth, UJ, sophist
Yeah, okay, so I'm doing Sex and the City because when I think of my 30s, I don't think it'll be like Sex and the City, but I think what I've always envisioned being 30 is fabulous and that show.
It's so New York.
And it's also very timely because in junction and partnership with Sex and the City being my crush of the week, did you guys know that Kristen Davis, who plays Charlotte on Sex and the City, just started a rewatch podcast called Are You Charlotte?
And I am so sick of rewatch podcasts and all that shit, but this is one that I am ready for.
I listened to the first episode, so there's probably 2 or 3 when you guys listen to this that came out. The first episode is 40 minutes of pure pleasure. Oh my God. First of all, of all the girls, I think she was the right choice to do it. It makes the most sense. She plays the middle. Obviously, we know Sarah Jessica and Kim are like not speaking. And then Miranda sings like she's just like she's at a rally.
She's at a rally, and I like that for her.
Yeah. What's her name? I'm blanking right now.
Cynthia Nixon.
Cynthia Nixon. I'm so sorry, Cynthia. I just think Kristen Davis was great, and I listened to the first episode, and it's so joyful, and it feels like you're talking to Charlotte, aka Kristen Davis. And there was a couple really fun moments in the first episode that I wanted to highlight.
Please.
The audition was insane.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the day, they had to sign contracts at the auditions, basically like locking them in for 7 seasons. Kind of crazy. And Kristen Davis, that when she went to the audition that day to read for Charlotte, because they said they wanted her to read for Carrie, and she was like, I'm not Carrie, this is not me. And they're like, well, don't worry, we already gave it to Sarah Jessica. And she was like, amazing, I'm so happy, but like, please let me read for Charlotte. So she gets there, the fax machines are down. So she had to wait for like 5 hours in this like waiting room with everybody else auditioning, like stressed out of her mind. And the only person that could calm her down was her friend, Willie Garson, who ended up playing Stanford because she already knew Willie.
Oh.
So he like calmed her down and made her laugh the entire time. She goes in, she nails it. They have to wait 2 weeks to find out. She's panicking every single day. She's like trying to get her mind off of it. She goes to see a Brad Pitt movie. All she can think about during the movie is when are they going to tell me if I got it or not. Runs to her car after the movie on her ancient cell phone in 1997, calls. She got the job.
Yes, queen.
And it was such an interesting like dynamic because she felt like everyone there was so talented and such like amazing actors, and she was like kind of fangirling the entire time because all she had done before that was like a really big 1-year role on Melrose Place.
We should watch that because I also listened. Well, I started listening to this episode this morning and I didn't finish it, but I was like, why haven't we watched that? And campers have recommended on Patreon that we watch it.
Melrose
Not watch
Place?
it. Yeah, not watch it for Patreon, but watch it because we've talked about other stuff on
I want to
Patreon.
see it. I had never seen it. But this at the time was a really different kind of show because no one was filming in New York except Law and Order. And no one was like having conversations around women and sexuality like this. It really was groundbreaking. Like women having sex like men did at the time. Like kind
So
of
true, 1997.
casual hookups. And the guy who created the show ended up going with HBO over Fox because he would have more creative control and to do like more kind of like scandalous stuff than doing like straight cable.
Right, because you could show boobs.
Exactly. So, and there was a really interesting story about how they made her cut her hair and she didn't want to cut her hair and she went to Sarah Jessica, and Sarah Jessica was truly the machine behind the creative because she was such a known New Yorker at the time that they kind of like deferred to her as like what the New York woman looked like in 1997. So she's talking about the pilot the entire time and all these funny kind of bits about how much she didn't like the pilot and how everything changed and evolved and how she believed that like she didn't think the pilot was perfect, but there was a little glimmer and a spark, and she believes that that's what makes a good pilot. Something that you can see can be molded like clay to kind of develop a full show. So I thought it was just such an interesting like dive into behind the curtain of it all. And when she talks about Stanford, she starts crying. It was so emotional because like she was like, we were so young and we had our whole lives and I can't believe we got to like live this together, and how much she missed him. She had to like stop the show.
Yeah, for those who don't know, in real life the actor did pass away, but he was in And Just Like That, wasn't he? Or was
Only
it right
for
before?
one season. They had to write him off kind of in a messy way because
So he made it
for
back for that, and then he did.
He
sadly
did make it back
pass
for
away.
one season, which was great.
Oh, campers! If you're not watching Sex and the City, because I feel like it was so popular, and I had watched it. So in my head, I'm like, well, everybody watched it, but that's not the case. I feel like even people here in New York, I'm like, what do you mean you didn't watch or haven't watched or won't consider watching Sex and the City? Campers, if you haven't watched it, give her a shot. You know, I think it's great.
The first season's so rough.
And yeah, that's not what it molds into itself.
It changes. And they talk about in the first season how the characters would break the fourth wall and talk to the camera and how difficult that was for all of them. And they all were such accomplished actors at this point, but this was such like a new format for television. And she's talking about Sarah Jessica Parker doing it for the first time. And she called Sarah Jessica before she did the podcast to talk about like that whole process and if it was okay to kind of talk about how she was uncomfortable doing it. And she was like, yeah, I was so uncomfortable doing it because my husband, Matthew Broderick, was famous for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And that's such a big part of that show. And she was like, I'll never be able to do it as well as he did it. And that's the only reference she had. And I like never even like compared the two.
I didn't
but it's
either.
so interesting, like listening to a rewatch podcast to get those insights because you don't make those connections and they make it for you. And it's like, it's so juicy.
I didn't like when the girls did it,
I didn't
but
like
what
it
I
either.
didn't mind was because she is like a writer for a column where she gives advice. It's kind of like a Dear Campers, but like, you know, a sex advice. So they would go around to randoms in the city who would never have an actual role on it in the first season of the show. And they would say the things that they were writing in to Carrie.
Well, the first episode, the pilot, they have a story around one of these characters, like a B-side like woman in the city, and they set this whole storyline up and she gets ghosted and then you never see her again. So Kristen Davis for episode 2, when it comes out, she's bringing her on to talk about her perspective on like being on the show. It's just cool to see like how amazing and huge it is a part of pop culture, but hearing about it in these earlier moments when no one knew what it was going to be. And I think she's just perfect. And are you a Charlotte? Who are you? Which girl are you?
I don't think I'm a single one of them. I think I'm a little bit of all of them. You know, I'm every woman.
I think you're in between a Miranda and a Charlotte.
Interesting.
I think I'm a Carrie. I'm not a Carrie hater. And I'll say that through and through. I've never been a Carrie hater.
I am a Carrie hater, not a Carrie hater. I am a Carrie. I think she's just like an idiot sometimes. And I'm like, why are you doing that? And you're so selfish about things. But I don't want her any other way. Let me make that clear.
I think she's selfish, but I think sometimes you got to be. And I don't
Sometimes you ought to be.
I don't think she meant it in a bad way. And I think at the end of the day, she was all about girlhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great podcast. So that's my crush of the week.
What song's been stuck in your head all week? Welcome to Camp Songs.
Welcome back to Camp Songs. You know what the deal is. This is the song that has been stuck in our head all week. Johnny boy, what you been singing?
Okay. So it's been a little bit because we are pre-recording this in advance, but when the LA wildfires happened, Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt lost their house. They lost pretty much everything. And my camp song is I'll Do It by Heidi Montag because she's back on the charts. She is trending back on the charts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate. And I think she's being picked apart a lot because it definitely is, everyone's like, well, you're so rich, you're so bougie, you've had all this stuff done to your body, all that shit, kind of the things that were being thrown at her years ago.
I don't think Heidi and Spencer are that rich.
They're not. And
I think
they're pretty open about
rich.
it. But I think the people who don't know. They used to be rich. He spent a shit ton of that money on like jewels and stones.
Why did he buy all those amethysts and crystals?
He is still into it, but he has a business now.
Is he selling crystals?
He's selling crystals, but his thing is he's too selfish with the really nice ones because he wants to keep them.
And it's like, that's how you make the money.
He was talking about it with Heather McDonald, and I was like, yeah, Spence, like honestly. And it kind of worked out because a music video for this came out a couple days after the fires happened. And all of this whole big push was happening. So I was like, oh my God, how did they pull together this budget? Because this is not
I was going to ask
low
that.
budget. This is not a low budget music video. This is a really fucking good video. It's one of the cooler videos, and it's very different from a lot of things that I've been seeing come out lately. She had been in preparation for like 2 months to celebrate the 15-year anniversary. So she went in and did a music video for this song 15 years after.
So she pre-recorded all of that.
So happened to be kind of kismet in that way because nobody knew the fires were going to happen. They didn't know that their house was going to be gone and they were going to kind of have to rely on this. But yeah, it came off of her 2010 album Superficial. The song itself is from 2009 and it is now #1 on iTunes. Linktree also partnered with her to get her a billboard in Times Square, which she currently has. And I bought a t-shirt, but I bought it yesterday, so I was hoping it would be here by the time we recorded it, but instead I have Britney Spears on today, but I do have a Heidi Montag shirt coming in the mail.
The song was ahead of her time, and I think people scrutinized it because it was her, and when you listen to it now, I'm like, that's a bop. It's a great song.
But that is my camp song. I'll Do It, Heidi Montag. Heidi!
I love that.
Thank you. What's your song?
My song is very of turning 30, and the song is Schoolin' Life by Beyonce. I love this song so much I forgot about it. It was really popular on TikTok the last 2 weeks, and it feels very significant for a milestone birthday. It actually was on Beyonce's 4 album, and it was a Target exclusive. So it's really kind of a B-side song here. And if you look at all of her songs in relation to streaming and popularity, it's number 114 out of her discography.
Jesus Christ, it's a BB side.
So if you've never heard it, please listen. It relates to every camper at every age. This song is all about like growing up at different points and like accepting where you're at and like loving who you are at every stage of who you are. I'm going to sing a little bit of it. This is for my 20-somethings. Time really moved fast, you were just 16. This is for them 30-somethings that didn't turn out exactly how your mom and dad wanted you to be. This is for them 40-somethings. Well, raise up a glass and laugh like a motherfucker. This is for them 50-somethings. Hell, you're halfway there, baby. Take it to the head. I don't know. It's fun. I did more than I thought I wanted to sing, but I wanted to kind of emulate.
Include a lot of people.
Everybody.
That was beautiful.
No, it's like really fun. It's definitely, she's heavily inspired by Prince and it feels very like funky Prince for sure. And it's just like a really easy, fun, boppy, funky song. I think it actually would be relevant for every person at every age, at every step in their life. It's a real positive, uplifting song about like loving where you're at and loving the ride of just aging and growing up. And I didn't anticipate doing a song about that, but I was listening, I was on TikTok and I was loving this trend with it. And I'm like, oh my God, this feels so important for right now. And I listened to it so many times the other day, I think it might end up in my top 10 on Spotify at the end of the year, because I'm going to keep listening to it because it's making me feel real good. And I hope you campers are feeling real good after you listen to our show, because that's the point of this whole thing.
Beautiful. I didn't know that it was Prince inspired.
Yeah.
Little funky Prince.
If you hear it, you're like, oh, that's so Prince.
I could use a couple more of those in my closet. Funky Prince.
Okay, we'll get you to it.
Well, you guys can listen to it too. It could be on your Spotify top 10 at the end of the year. You can go to the link in the bio. We have, you can listen to it completely for free. Every song we've ever done. You can write into us for Trail Mix at camcounselorspodcast.com or send us an email, camcounselorspod@gmail.com.
Yeah, we got merch available at the link. We have Patreon. We're doing live shows. After next week, oh my God, next Wednesday, we'll be in like Charlotte and Atlanta on that run.
Yeah.
So if you live in Charlotte, Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, Austin.
Oh my God, who's in San Francisco? Because that's my birthday shop.
Phoenix, San Francisco, LA, all those tickets are still available. It's going to be a rip-roaring good tour, so please come see us. And I think that's all I have for today.
Yeah, and wish Zachariah a happy birthday on February 3rd.
Woo! And with that being said, lights out, campers.